Alright, so my name is Christian Vaughn, and I will be doing my project and showing a video of how to solve an equation and also how to verify and establish the identity of another equation. So for this one, I will be showing and giving the exact value of this equation, which is tangent, and in parentheses is the inverse of cosine of 1/2 minus the inverse of sine of negative square root of 3 over 2. So I'm going to start by doing this equation. This equals out on the unit circle to be negative pi over 3. I will then put parentheses around it, bring the rest of the fraction or the equation down. This is inverse of cosine 1/2, which will also equal on the unit circle to be pi over 3. I'll place the parentheses back around this and place the tangent around that. I then put these together. They have a common denominator, so I'm able to subtract them together. The negative and the negative turn into a positive, which creates 2 pi over 3. And then tangent, which is y over x, will be, you find this on the unit circle, and then you take the tangent of it, and that will enter out into a negative square root of 3. And that is your answer. I will now be establishing the identity of this separate equation. So the first thing that I'm going to do is work with the left side of the equation, and I will give both sides a common denominator. So I'll multiply this side by sine of 1 plus sine of v, so that will equal that side, and this side I'll do 1 minus sine of v on this side. That will equal out to be 1 minus sine of v over 1 plus sine of v multiplied by 1 minus sine of v. And then that whole fraction will be added onto this fraction of 1 plus sine of v over 1 minus sine of v multiplied by 1 plus sine of v, and I will then bring the rest of the equation down, which is 2 over secant squared v. So since these have an equal common denominator, I will put them all into one fraction over 1 plus sine of v, 1 minus sine of v, and then I'll bring the rest of the fraction or the equation down. Now I'll continue to simplify the left side of the equation. Since these are of the same, then I can bring them together, and this will be 1 plus 1 is 2. The negative sign and the positive sign cancel out, thereby giving, and then I will multiply this through, so 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative sign is sign, but then when you do the sign times 1, those will cancel out, leaving you with negative sine squared v, which equals this 2 secant squared v. Secant is really just 1 over cosine squared. So I will multiply the 2 into the 1 over 1 for the 1 over cosine squared, which will leave me with 1 over cosine, or 2 over cosine squared v. And then this will all equal out to be 1 minus sine squared v is also equal to cosine squared v. So you have 2 over cosine squared v equals 2 over cosine squared v, thereby verifying the identity, and you have your answer.